Let's talk about staging gear. Hey everyone, Dylan Schumacher, Citadel Defense, and I was thinking the other day about kit setup and staging your gear. And there used to be this time when I thought, or I at least felt the emotional tension, right, that everything had to be accessible all the time. So everything had to be immediately accessible all the time, right? And so if you ever try to do that, you're going to find out real quick that really doesn't work, right? And so I have evolved, I've learned that that's not true. That's not true. One, it's not even possible. Like everything can't be accessible all the time, right? Some stuff has to live in your pack. Some stuff is just going to naturally be less accessible than other stuff. There's only so much prime real estate on your kit or on your body that you can really have to keep things accessible, and other things just need to be secondary importance, right? So typically when it comes to kit, the things that we have that are primary important, right, are bullets, right? So we're gonna keep those in the primary, easy to get spot. And then medical, right? So in my case, I have a dangler here. Maybe you're running out of your GP pouch, whatever. But typically, those are the things that we want that are immediately accessible, right? And everything else starts to take, a second or third tier kind of accessibility, right? I mean, like in this case, right, I can have a blade up here, so why not? But even my water bottle, it's accessible, but it's gonna take a little work, right? I gotta pop it, I gotta get it, then I gotta put the retaining strap back down, I gotta buckle it in. It's not super hard, but it's slower than accessing a mag, right? So you always have to have priorities when it comes to your kit. And again, the reason you're wearing kit is for the pew-pews, so naturally the things that you want the most accessible are the things that go pew, and then the things that help you if you get pewed, right? Those are typically the big things that we want to have on primary real estate. Well, there's kind of another level to that, and that is knowing that you will have time, or you will have to take time, I guess would be a better way to say it, to stage kit as you're entering different phases of what it is you're trying to do. So, for example, right, if I was going to get into a fight, right, intentionally, I'm going somewhere, I'm going to start a fight, I'm going to intentionally do that thing. Well then, probably at my release point or right before I know I'm going to be getting into the muck, right, I'm probably going to go ahead and take this flap right here, and I'm going to fold that down, and I'm going to tuck that behind these mags, right? Well, why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that because that way these mags are more immediately accessible, because I know I'm about to do something that involves lots of pew-pews, so that this magazine here is a lot easier to get to and access rather than having to rip the flap up and whatever, right? Now, if I don't expect to be doing that or whatever, or I'm getting in a helicopter, man, I would really love a helicopter. Or if whatever, I know I'm gonna be doing a lot of low crawling on this attack for whatever reason, right? It's at night and we're going in, and my job is to crawl under this wire over like 150 yards. Well then, I'm gonna put the flap down. Why? Well, because mission dictates gear, right? And I know that I'm gonna be dragging myself up on the earth, so I want everything covered so I don't lose anything, right? But if I knew, again, I was going to go get in a fight or whatever, well, then I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold that right up, I'm going to let this elastic on the pouch do its job, and then I'm going to leave it like that, right? And then I'll go in, I can do the pew-pews, I'm going to leave these two covered so that, again, if I take a spill or if something happens, right, that where I do end up losing these two magazines, well, hey, at least I still got these other four, right? It's a backup plan to contingency, but I want to, again, maintain easy access for these two because I'm going to need them very shortly, and I know that, right? So that's an example of something where I think I'm pre-staging my kit as I'm about to do something, right? So when you get to those rally points and those, not the rally points, those long halts and those release points and those ORPs, right? If you don't know what that is, don't worry. It's the points that we're stopping right before we go do stuff, right? But as you get to those things, that's the time to start prepping that gear as you're about to get in that engagement, right? Be smart, cheat, rig the deck. Like, why wouldn't you, right? If you talk to anybody who's been in combat, they're going to tell you, yeah, well, of course we did that. Like, be serious, right? Well, we're gonna try to rig the deck. Nobody leaves their kit all the way it is all the time. That's just silly. You're an adult thinking human being, right? Use your brain, and remember that your kit is fluid. it's gonna fluctuate throughout a mission. And again, I'm gonna go in, I'm about to do something. Well, this is coming up, I'm gonna fold it. I'm done, we're leaving now. Well, now my flap's gonna go down because I don't expect contact and I wanna make sure maximum retention on these magazines, right? Or we're about to go into a room, and so I need to stage some zip tie cuffs, right? There's some zip cuffs. So I'm gonna get those out, I'm gonna carabiner them on my kit, right? And I'm gonna have them right here and right accessible. Why? Because I'm about to go into this room and I think I'm gonna need them, right? Like, again, be thinking. Or maybe I'm just gonna like jerry rig it, right? I'm gonna open up my map pocket, right? I'm gonna take a zip cuff or a flex cuff and I'm just gonna stuff it right in my map pocket right here and I just have one stage. So that as we go into that room, we do the pew-pews or whatever, and we need to restrain somebody, well then boom, I've got the cuff, boom. And then before I leave to go to the next room, I'm gonna pull one from my pack or have one get my buddy get one out of my pack or whatever, and I'm gonna restage it. Why? So that I'm ready for the next problem, right? You need to start thinking again, your kit is fluid. Things change, and as you go from problem to problem, set yourself up for success to solve the next problem, whatever that happens to be. Okay, well, we're about to get in the helicopter and we're gonna ride over here. We're gonna ride in the back of a pickup truck, probably a little bit more realistic for most of us, right? We're all climbing in the back of this pickup truck. Well, hey, check my tie downs, make sure my tie downs are good, make sure all my flaps are good. All right, let's go, get in the truck, right? I get out of the truck. Okay, we know we're gonna walk, 6 blocks that way to do something, all right? I'm gonna take a minute as we're pulling security and whatever. I'm gonna make sure I pre-stage this flap. I'm gonna make sure I pop this out here. And I'm gonna make sure I got my thermal ready. Yep, thermal's ready. I make sure that's tied down. Maybe I'll tuck this flap in because I know I'm gonna need that thermal in a minute because I'm the guy whose job it is to check out the building, right? Maybe not, maybe I just leave it buckled in there, but you get the point. Like, as your job and mission dictate, you're pre-staging that kit. You're getting your fluid kit on your body ready, and you're staging your gear to solve the next problem. I just think that a lot of the times we can get caught up in this idea that my kit is stagnant, right? And I throw it on and that's just what it is. And I'm always gonna have to lift the flap to get the mag, and that's just, good muscle memory or whatever we tell ourselves. And I think, maybe, but by and large, be smart. Be smarter than your kit, right? Work the problem, set your kit up to solve the problem. That's gonna set you up for better success. You're gonna have a better experience, and you're probably just gonna have more fun. I hope that's helpful. I hope that gives you something to think about. Do brave deeds and endure.